we made it to the final round of Formula Drift Pro 2 at Irwindale Speedway. This round, they decided to switch up the schedule a little bit. Normally, Pro 2 will practice Thursday and compete Friday. But because Pro had another double header for their final event, all the drivers voted and we decided to have Pro 2 compete on Saturday and Pro compete on Friday and Sunday. This gave everybody an extra day to make sure their cars were ready for competition. On Wednesday, as we prepped the car, we decided to proactively swap our ACT clutch for a new one, just because we've been running on it all season and then a little bit of last year, and I didn't want to risk having any large issues during competition. So we went ahead and swapped that out for our brand new ACT clutch. I was feeling very confident going into Thursday practice. I have driven at Irwindale before, but this was a new track layout. The first half was pretty much the same, but the second half was different. They shortened the second outer zone and added another turn, which was a third outer zone. I adapted pretty quickly throughout our first Thursday practice, but towards the end of practice, my car started overheating like crazy. It was almost 250 degrees. I started panicking a little bit, getting on the radio to my team, it's overheating, it's overheating. I tried to cool the car down, it just would not cool down. So immediately we thought, oh no, we have a thermostat that's stuck or our water pump failed. We better get back to the pits and fix it. So we towed the car back to the pits and got to work. We decided to swap both the water pump and the thermostat to just eliminate anything that might be a problem. And we got a new water pump and a new thermostat in the car. Unfortunately, my second practice session of Thursday was almost over. I missed pretty much the entire session. So in the last 15 minutes, we tried to drive the car over to grid to get 1 or 2 laps, but just driving over to the hot grid, it was getting really hot. It was like 230 degrees already, and I was just driving.
That's a bad life. We don't want that life. No.
So I was starting to panic a little bit because this said to me and the team that there might be a larger issue. And we were dreading to think that we might have a head gasket issue. So I took one terrible, crappy lap Thursday night where I really didn't get to try to drive the course very well. It was literally just watching my temps, having a red warning light screaming in my face. I was full on panic mode. I was like, oh no, this is it. This engine has lasted me 5 years now, but we've never rebuilt it. Is this the moment that it goes, you know, the finals? So we got back to the pits, and at this point, I was ecstatic that we had Friday to actually work on the car and we weren't competing until Saturday. It ended up being my saving grace, but we still didn't know what the issue was. We decided to go get a couple more thermostats to test and hope that it wasn't the head gasket. We also took the thermostats and at our rental VRBO house, we put a pot of water on the stove and heated it up with a thermometer and tested to see when the thermostats were opening. It was a fun little science experiment, but it was worth seeing which one was actually going to work before we tried actually putting it in the car. So we got the new thermostat in on Friday, and driving around the pits, it seemed good. It seemed fine. The temps were staying in a normal range. I was okay with it. And so we asked FD if we could get in the burnout box and do a couple donuts to try to give the car more heat and see if it would stay good. Temperatures got up to 196, and then as soon as I stopped, my donuts came right back down again. And I was thrilled. It wasn't a head gasket, we got it fixed, and we were ready for competition on Saturday. I was happy that I had a few more laps in our warm-up session on Saturday to feel out the track, but I was a little nervous because our competition was at night when the track is colder because the sun is down, there's probably going to be more grip, and I missed the entire night session on Thursday. I had no idea what to expect from the track going into my competition runs. And in the warm-up, the 3 laps that I got weren't super helpful in that sense.
The only female in competition out here, coming all the way from Florida, not living here in Southern California. Top 1 oil at 14, it is Kelsey Rowlings.
My top 16 battle was against Daniel Stuckey. I led first, and I put down a very mild lead run. I didn't want to go too crazy. I didn't want to get too close to the wall because, again, I had no idea what to expect from the track and how it was going to feel. I made my way into the final turn, and when I was drifting into the final turn, I noticed the emergency vehicles were starting to move and their lights were on. And I almost shut it down right there because I didn't know what was going on. But I told myself, no, just finish the lap, got back to the burnout box to turn around for my follow run, and my spotter got on the radio and told me that Daniel had crashed. He hit the inner bank wall in the second outer zone, and unfortunately, the damage to his car was not fixable in 5 minutes. So this meant I did a bye run instead of a follow run, and I got the win into the top 8. My top 8 battle was against Mike Power. I've driven with Mike in practices before in previous rounds, but I've never competed against him, and I knew he was a ripper, so I was a little nervous to go against him, but I knew it was gonna be fun. So I led first, and I put down probably my best lead run of the weekend. I had a really, really nice bank line. I was up against the wall. The rest of the course was just completely solid. I was in the zones, I was hitting my marks, and I was very happy with it. But we switched places, and in the run-up on my follow run, Mike started to gap me a little bit. And at that point, I was playing catch-up. I realized how beneficial that Thursday night practice would have been, because trying to see through the smoke, to see the inner clip and where to transition, I couldn't see a thing. You rely on muscle memory to know where to transition on this course when you're following in tandem, and I just did not have that muscle memory. I did not get enough practice. So the entire time I'm trying to be careful, but I'm trying to play catch up, and it was overall a really sloppy follow run. I thought I had just thrown it all away, but when we lined up to get a decision, the judges decided on it one more time. In my second run, my lead run was not as good as my first run. into my follow run. And of course on my follow run, I'm like, oh no, I want to make sure I get out of the line, at a good pace, and I want to keep up with him. But of course I let him gap me again on the straightaway into the initiation. I was playing catch up again, and it ended up being pretty similar to my first follow run. Sloppy, and I was very disappointed with it. But overall, I was really happy I didn't wreck my car because it was really hard to see. We lined up for a decision, and Mike ended up getting the win, and he went on to win the event, which was awesome because after our battle, we ran up and we hugged each other, and I told him he better win, and he did. So you're welcome, Mike. It's because I told you to win. Not really, I'm kidding. But I'm really happy for Mike because he's an awesome person, an awesome driver. He completely deserved the win. He was ripping all weekend. But most of all, I'm really proud of my team. I did not think I would be driving on Saturday at all, but they got the car fixed. I was completely ready to just go below the engine of my top 16 run with an overheating car, but they made sure it was ready, and I did not imagine doing this well in our final round. So a huge thanks to them. We ended up 9th overall in the season, which is our best finish yet. And next year our goal is to be top 8 and get that pro license. So thanks for tuning in with me for the 2020 season. I hope you stick around for 2021 because I'm really hoping for a great year. Thanks so much. Bye guys.